This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes has got you covered when it comes to telemarketed leads and virtual staffing. On the lead side, whether it be Medicare supplement leads, final expense leads, turning 65 leads, they just got something for everybody. They can also actually have you plug in with one of their virtual staff members on the staffing side to where you can pay by the hour for one of their trained and very well vetted staff members to help you out in your business in a virtual assistant format. Just because you watch this video, they're going to give you 10% off any order you make on their website. Link to the site can be found down in the description, so go ahead and check them out.
Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I am here on the trampoline with little Miss Christian Brindle. Violet, what's your name? Say Violet. Yes. So we are just hanging out here on the trampoline, and I had a thought that I hadn't came in here and did a live for you guys for some time. So we're just sitting out here on the trampoline, just having a good old time, and I figured now is a better time, as good a time as any, to jump in here and have a conversation with you guys about AEP and what you guys should be doing to be prepared. I've seen a lot of posting going on about just should be doing this, should be doing that. Now granted, a lot of people would probably say that you should have been preparing for AEP quite a long time ago, and I would agree with that. But me telling you that doesn't help you now if you haven't been preparing now, does it? What it does is it gives you information going into next year, if maybe this is your first AEP, or maybe you just had a couple of, lackadaisical, is that a word? Lackadaisical, that's the word I'm looking for, AEPs. It helps you going into next year to know you should be preparing early, but it doesn't help you anything right now. So what I'm going to talk with you guys is what I would be doing right now if I didn't have a plan yet, and what you should be focused on and what you should be thinking about. So first things first, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of talk in the different groups about rollout meetings and how valuable they are and how important they are. I have my own thoughts on this. I think that rollout meetings can certainly have value, and I think that getting yourself familiarized with your different carrier reps in your market is valuable. I'm not going to come out here and tell you guys that it's not. However, if you're like me, I value every second of my day. I value every second that I could be doing income producing activities in my business. A lot of these carriers in the local market will do virtual rollout meetings. And to me, I like those a bit better because I can come in and out. The thing about carrier rollout meetings that a lot of people don't talk about is a lot of times they'll spend the first 30 minutes, maybe the first 45 minutes, talking about how great that carrier is and why they're awesome, right? And it's just talking about this XYZ carrier does all this for charity and does this and does this and does this. That doesn't tell me anything about the plans. They spend a very finite amount of time talking about the plan changes in these meetings. And I always hated going to meetings where they did that. And most of the carrier meetings are like that. And I would spend 2 hours there, sometimes 3. And I would feel like I wasted a morning or an afternoon. Now, if you have no relationship with your carrier managers, if you have no relationship with your broker managers, then I would say it's probably worth going for that reason, to develop that relationship and to kind of get your face in front of them so that way they know who you are. Because them knowing who you are is valuable, because then they'll be able to put a face to the name when you email them, call them for help, want to request marketing dollars, everything like that. Now, a lot of people talk about, and the other thing is, if you have an office and you have a decent sized team like I do, a lot of the carriers will come to you and do a private carrier rollout for your office in your market. I would take that 10 times out of 10 than going somewhere I probably don't want to go. You guys get where I'm saying. I'm not as sold on the concept. I think that it has some value, but I also think that let's say you're appointed with 6 Medicare Advantage carriers in your market, and let's say that You go to all of them, and all of them take 2 to 3 hours. It's a pretty good chunk of time investment that I could be spending doing other things in my business. You need to know what's going on with the changes. You definitely do, but I like the virtual ones for that reason. Or if I can get a carrier to come to my office, if you have a small team, and do it a private one for you, it's probably more time effective for you. So I feel like there's a lot of agents that just spend all this time going to carrier rollout meetings, and they spend 3 hours at every single one of them, and they never get anything done. They never write any business, right? Like some of these people that post in these Facebook groups, they just don't talk about the bottom line, income producing activities, right? Like you could be prepared without spending all morning or afternoon somewhere. So I personally don't go to any of these, not one, because I know all the carrier reps in my market. They know me. If I need something, they know who I am. I'm established. Now, if you're not established, that's where I see the value in it. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this and my 2 cents, because some things are not always black and white. Sometimes there's some gray, and virtual ones are great. But if you have no relationship with the carrier managers, I do recommend building one. But I think you're better off just, having lunch with somebody, because then they can more learn about your business, and you can talk more about kind of what you're needing to talk about. Okay, maybe like ways to market together. Now, a lot of people talk about asking local carrier reps for co-op money. I'm a big fan of this. Now, it's kind of late in the game to be starting this process, because anytime you're getting co-op money from a carrier and you're just starting the process right now, it takes them some amount of time to get it through approvals and everything like that, especially with all the new CMS regulations taking effect in October. So if you're thinking about talking to a carrier rep about this, I'd do it yesterday. Like, I'd do it as soon as you possibly could and hope for the best. But it's kind of late in the game for that right now. Now, if you're doing mailers, you're doing mail out pieces, one thing I've always been told by people that are much smarter than me when it comes to mail are you shouldn't wait for your pieces to drop in October 15th, anything like that, because that's when there's a bulk of the mail being dropped by people with much larger budgets than you, people like carriers. And so what I've always had the best success with is when I'm sending out my mail, maybe beginning of September, maybe first or second week of September, that kind of thing. So that's why it's dropping before October gets there, and I'm starting to get responses before October gets there, and then I can follow back up with them. And people always say, when you have to take that strategy, is it better to wait till AEP to actually call them, or should you call them right away? If it was me, I'd call them right away, introduce myself, explain that you don't have all the information yet, or you can't disclose all the information yet on plan changes, get back with them October 1st, set an appointment for after the 15th. That's the strategy that I've used with direct mail for AEP, to where I'm getting the most results. I'm getting the highest response rate, because by doing that, you're going to have a response rate that's way higher than if your pieces are dropping October 15th, right? Because there's way more mail being dropped around that time. And I've found that to be true. And so that's one thing I wanted to talk with you guys about. You guys should be placing all your orders with vendors. Excuse me. You guys should be placing all your orders with vendors now. Like, you should be preparing your orders now. Not in a couple of weeks, not 2-3 weeks from now, but now. I think the time for this stuff is now. And I think you should be doing all the preparation work that you can. I think it's really, really late in the game. It doesn't mean you can't put together a solid, good plan to be successful. But I would encourage you to get going on it and not wait any longer. Because a lot of the people that do a lot of business during AEP, they're starting to make their preparations after the last AEP ends. And then others I've talked to, they will start making preparations in March. Or, for us, we usually start in May. Start thinking about what we're going to be doing this upcoming AEP and kind of putting together that strategy. So it's not to say that you can't do anything right now, but time is certainly of the essence. You guys have heard me say this before, but I also am a big fan of making sure that your schedule is clear during AEP. Get everything you need done. You need to change your oil, do it in September. You need to get your car registered, do it in September. Just try to prevent anything that's in your control from blocking AEP, because AEP is the greatest opportunity to grow your business. There's people I've seen that go into AEP with 10 clients and they exit AEP with maybe 250 or something like that, right? It's the prime time of the year when it comes to opportunity. There's certain people that aren't even in the Medicare market that will say things like, it's not that big of a deal, blah, 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 blah. Don't listen to anybody like that. Anybody that's talking about Medicare that says don't take AEP seriously or don't heed any of the advice I'm taking when it comes to try to spend as much of your time income producing, that's garbage. Anybody that's doing trainings during AEP, garbage. There's a reason why carriers don't let you move contracts during AEP, because they don't want to focus on that. They don't want to focus on, Joe Blow agent wanting to move from this hierarchy to this hierarchy. It's not important to them during AEP. That's why blackout periods exist with Medicare Advantage companies. And so, and of course, somebody will watch this and they'll say, well, there's always going to be things you can't control, right? Personal life, I understand. And yeah, that's true. There's always going to be things in your personal life. But if something in your personal life comes up that prevents you from, it takes a little bit of time from you during AEP, but you did everything you could do to wipe some other things out in your personal life beforehand, then that's just it's just less things that will be distracting you. So the logic to me is flawed. The logic to me is, well, if one thing happens that's unexpected, it just defeats the purpose of getting anything taken care of and cleared off your schedule. It just is ridiculous. It is a dumb argument to me. But yeah, guys, it's definitely getting close to the end game. So for us, we have a lot of things put into motion. We're just kind of finalizing a lot of our carrier co-ops and things like that, and just kind of working on all of that as of right now and trying to get things finished. But we've been working on it, on that kind of stuff for quite some time now. Another thing I would tell you guys when it comes to AEP, people always ask about your current clients and retention efforts. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So when do I personally send out my letters to my clients? So I send 2, and every year I post them in the Facebook group. So if you search the Facebook group for AEP letters or something like that, you'll be able to find mine. I send one out to MedSup clients. I send another one out to Medicare Advantage clients. And they're different letters because they're different messages I'm trying to portray to these clients. I will post them this year as soon as they're about to go out. But we've been working on them. And so more or less what we do is, I believe either next week or the week after, our AEP letters to our current clients are going to go out. Why do I send them so early? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. Number one, call centers and giant corporations that are probably us as independent agents' most direct competitors. It's not each other. It's the giant call centers, venture capital organizations, the eHealths of the world, things like that. They start ramping up their marketing and their advertising September 1. They do. If you've looked at trends the last couple of years, that is what they've done. And so I want my communication to get to my clients in September. Because the game has changed, guys. I don't want to wait till October. I've seen a lot of these organizations that when they are reaching out to your clients and customers, they're talking about 2023 changes or the new plan year changes way before the 1st of October. And they're telling them, hey, let us put you on this plan now with some phony baloney made up SEP, and then at the start of the year it'll add this benefit, or it'll change for the better, and this will be the best plan for you going into the next year. And they'll just try to get in before that. And yes, there's more regulations being put in. Yes, there's more rules and compliance being put in, but I don't believe it's going to completely stop or solve the problem. I still am not convinced they're going to be able to enforce these new rules on a massive scale like they're talking about. And they couldn't even enforce the old rules. So just think about that, right? Like the The rules weren't the problem as far as I'm concerned. It was enforcement of the current rules. We didn't need new rules. We needed enforcement of the current rules. But that's neither here or there. We have the rules as we have them. But I'm trying to get my communications out that early for a reason. Middle of September is kind of when I want my AEP letters to drop. And I'll post them once I have them, once I have some copies of them, into the Facebook group like I do every year. And you guys will be able to see them. And then the other thing we're doing is we have created emails that we'll send out to all of our clients through our CRM that have specific plans. So like, let's say we have a lot of clients. Let's say we have like a nice group of clients. Let's say we have 300 clients on one plan or something like that, right? Or we have 100 clients on one plan in our market or another market or anything like that. We will put together what we believe are the highlights in terms of changes. We'll put the ANOC in there if we have it. And we'll just put as much information as we can in there into this email blast. And we'll have the CRM shoot it out to them the 1st of October. And we always put in our email communications that, hey, we are happy to compare your prescriptions. If you take a lot of prescriptions, it's probably a good idea. Just take a couple generics. It might not be as big of a problem. And you wouldn't believe how many people, just by sending that email out, they'll email back and they'll be like, Christian, or, CBI team, or whatever the case might be, thank you for this. Plan looks good for next year. I'm happy. I don't want to change anything. I'm good. We'll call if we need anything. Saves us a lot of time. For the people we can't reach through the letters or through the emails, my team will actually call them starting October 1st, and we will walk through plan changes with them, and we'll tell them exactly what's changing. And the goal is, unless the plan's going to hell or unless there's a clear, better plan in the market, to keep them on that plan. And if they want to change, we try to get them a phone appointment or an in-office appointment to get their plan changed. So that way, in the first couple of weeks, we try to focus on getting our current clients taken care of as possible. And this approach has proved very effective, very efficient. We keep a huge percentage of our clients in our book of business every year. Nothing's perfect, because even if they talk to you, even if they get communication from you, they sometimes forget, or they get spooked by just the bombardment of advertising that they're getting, right? We all have experienced this as agents. And so even if you talk to somebody, they'll probably call back a month later. Not all of them, but a lot of them will. And they're like, I'm seeing all this advertisement. What is Part C? And all this stuff. And they already have Medicare Advantage and that kind of thing. They just forgot that it's Part C, or maybe you didn't use that terminology. You just said Medicare Advantage, whatever the case might be. Or they have Med Sups, and that kind of stuff certainly does happen. But I think by doing this, if you have a significant clientele, or even if you're a one-man show and you have a couple hundred clients, it helps you reduce the workload of retaining them, so you can focus on obtaining new business during AEP. Because in my opinion, and I got to this place several years ago to where I knew I needed to make some changes, needed to hire more people, just needed to do some growth within my organization. But to me, once you get to the point where you're spending all your time retaining your clients during AEP and you don't have the ability to take on more, it means you've hit a wall. You've hit a ceiling. And you never want to hit a ceiling in your business. You want to be able to grow past that. But it gets to the point, in my opinion. Like for me, it was about 600 clients when I was a one-man show. When I got to about 600 clients, I had a very difficult time writing 200 new ones during AEP, or whatever the case might be, or just growing a lot during AEP, because I was spending so much time just retaining all my customers. I was doing everything. I was taking every call, doing every drug comparison, etc. So I think it's a complicated issue, and it's a complicated question that doesn't have one answer as far as I'm concerned. But
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad. I'm Dad. Mom's not here. But that is a focus for me. That's typically my formula for AEP. It's been very, very effective for years now. One thing people always say during AEP, one thing people always say during AEP is the best way To have a good AEP is to have a good pipeline built throughout the year. So to sell all year round. Hi, baby. Say hi. Say Medicare. Say Medicare. Say Medicare. Yeah. But as far as I'm concerned, the best way to have a good AEP is to have an AEP pipeline built already going into AEP. So again, it's one of those things that if you haven't done that already, it doesn't help you much now. But going into next year, you'll know that you really, to be successful, to take the most advantage of your opportunity to be successful, you're best off marketing all year round and selling all year round, because you're going to run into a lot of people that you couldn't help during the year, and you'll have to get back with them during AEP. You get their permission to call, and you have this pipeline built up before you even worked any leads or referrals or anything like that, right? So we have that, of course, in our office, and that's a great way to be successful during AEP. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to just pop in here. I hadn't done a live for some time, and I wanted to give you my thoughts during AEP. I usually always do some lives during AEP and kind of give you my thoughts. I will, of course, do that this year. I'm here to help you guys. And what? You want to be in front of the camera? You want to be in front of the camera? You want to push Dad out of the picture? Yes, of course you do. I'm here to help you guys, and I'll bring you guys as much helpful information as I can during AEP. And I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be a monster year. I'm so excited. I always go through different phases of my feelings during AEP. As we start to get closer, at first I start to feel like, oh God, here we go, another AEP. I can't believe we're already here. Then past that, I get to a point where I'm excited. I'm like, yes, let's go. It's freaking AEP. I'm ready to go. Then maybe about a month into it, I'm just like, is it over yet? And then by the time it's over, I feel relief. I'm sure all of you guys can relate. So anyway, guys, hope you find this helpful. Hope you guys are having a great weekend and just kind of enjoying the calm before the storm when it comes to AEP. Hope you found this helpful. Hope I told you something that might impact your AEP this year. It's always good to spend some time with you guys. I enjoy doing these. So if you find lives like this helpful, you want to see more of them, let me know. I'm certainly open and happy to do more of them if you guys would like me to. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Hug and kiss your families. Tell them you love them.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Say it again.
Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys. All right, guys. We'll let you go. See ya.